Welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you my Power Girl B3DSERK 3D file that was printed out by my friend Meta John in Canada. I did do a video on this a while back where I actually customized the sculpt. I really like the sculpt. I like what they did with her. Now that she's painted up though, there's a couple things that I probably might have, changed or should have changed, but all in all, it worked out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the sculpt. I really like the anatomy they did on her. I like the body build. I think now that she's painted up, it's kind of the face is a little bit, I don't know, you know what it is I guess I'm getting so used to a lot of the sideshow stuff now and like Prime 1 and everything, where the faces have a lot more, they're pretty, they got a lot of more personality to them, and they got a little bit more of a realistic, I guess, sculpt to them. Whereas this one seems to be like kind of more of an older school, like just generic female sculpt. So I think it's kind of the nose that's what's throwing me off on it now. Now that I think about it, I probably should have maybe like tweaked the nose a little bit and sanded it down. But all in all, the sculpt is really great, and I'm pretty glad that I took the sculpt and I actually took what they did with it and I converted it into more of the classic look, because I guess lately a lot of people are putting this like weird gold trim around her edges and stuff, and that's kind of what they did, which is fine. I understand they're doing their own take on the character, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then it just gives me the opportunity to actually get the item in 3D print it, and then therefore customize it and do it my own way. Now, if you watch my other video where I customize the item, I wish they would have cut it differently. They cut it in very weird places that caused more issues than not. So they cut the arms off like here, instead of, they should have had the main body as one 3D print, but actually had the gloves removable and the boots. That was kind of like, and they also kind of left the cape piece up here and they cut it here and down here. I understand for printing, but I still would have liked to have the cape removable, but I did it myself. So if you watch my build video, you'll see where I did all that stuff. I really like how they sculpted the hair. The hair is really cool. I did tweak the front of the bangs though, because I didn't like how there was sort of, it felt like a bald spot up here. So I kind of added a little bit more hair flowing, and I think it covered it up. It made it work better. I took a lot of this weird gold trim that was around the gloves, but not on the boots. Like, the boots were great. I love how they sculpted the boots and everything. I just had to tweak and take out some of that trim and weird stuff. Now, as far as her chest goes with the boob window, I recently, after I did this one, I've been working on my Sideshow Power Girl Premium Format, the second version customs, and I found a better way of doing the boob window now. So this was kind of like a first attempt. And then after I did this one and I started working on those other ones, which are going to come down the line, it's the retro version and the bombshell version, I found a better way of doing it. So I'm actually getting better, and I'm coming up with some ideas. Now, with this item, after I did all my custom work, I've tried to use this item as a test piece, because Garage Kit's flesh tones are no longer in production until maybe Jesse finds another company to do them, or if he's just done completely. So I went ahead and I've been using some other flesh tone paints from other companies, and I'm kind of experimenting. So with these, with this one here, it was a good experiment to try Formula P3 flesh tones, and then I mixed it in with some other flesh tones. So the problem with their flesh tones is it's a really, really thick paint. So even though I thinned it down, I think I needed to thin it just a little bit more so I could get it to that consistency where it's like a Garage Kit paint. So I got a little bit more testing to go, but I wanted to do more of like a tan look on her than like a fair skin flesh. I wanted to try something a little bit more with those Formula P3s, and I do like them. I just got to do a little bit more practicing with them. So you can see, like, I kind of added some shades and stuff, and some oranges and reds and everything to get a little bit more of that tan look. So it's a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm getting there. This was a good item to really practice and stuff, because what it was is, I'm so used to working with the Garage Kit flesh tones that I can paint up a skin tone in my airbrush setup with my lights, and I knew how it was going to look when I take it into a place like this. With these flesh tones, it's a little bit different now, so it looks good in there, but then when I brought it in here just as a test, I realized the skin was a little bit off, so I had to go back in and tweak it, but all in all, it worked out pretty well. Now you can see the gloves and the cape have a little bit of a shine in the belt. That's because I use a satin varnish on them. So I did do a texture on the boots and gloves, and I did a texture on the cape. to make it look like a leather. And then I added that satin varnish on there to give it a little bit more of a sheen to it, instead of making it look flat. And that's kind of why maybe in the lights you got a little bit of the sheen. I probably should have did a little bit more of a half satin, half matte varnish mixture, and then sprayed them down. I think the satin just came out a little too shiny, but I could always go back and then take it. But I actually kind of like it that it makes it look like a shinier leather look, and then you got the flat skin and flat outfit here, so it makes things pop a little bit more. Right here, this is Alclad pale gold on the belt. Same thing with the belt and the cape there. Now, as far as her hair goes, it is not just like yellow out of the bottle. It is sort of a, if you go on to like, you know, like shampoo commercials and you look at like blonde hair, they're not just pure yellow. So what I've been doing a lot lately is whenever I do like blonde hair, I use raw sienna, I use white mixed with yellow, I use raw sienna and yellow, and I kind of try to get those variations of colors of hair that you would see in those commercials to make it look a little bit more realistic than just like a straight yellow. So there's really no pure yellow in there. It's got that mixture of like, you know, whites and yellows, a little bit of raw siennas to make it look dirty blonde. And I did some dry brushing, and then after all that was done, I did hit it with a little bit of hint of pearl in there, and then I matted it down to give it a little bit of a sheen, and it kind of worked out pretty well. So she got that really nice platinum blonde hair without it being like, you know, facing like out of the bottle yellow. So that's kind of something I suggest people try not to just do like yellow hair and be done with it. Dull it down. Don't use that pure yellow unless it calls it for the character. Try to give it that natural hair look. You don't have to make it look mustard yellow, but you don't have to make it look pure yellow. Kind of find that mixture in between. And then afterwards I glued up the rope. I glued the little button onto the cape there and ran with it. Now, if you watched a couple of my streams in my last video, I did do a custom base for her. I did not like the base that they designed for her, which is, you know, like I said, it's fine that they designed the base the way it looked, because what it was is it was like a circle. It said Power Girl, and it had all these like lines coming up with stars, and it was kind of like a really stylized base, which is okay, but I don't want that on my shelf. I kind of wanted more of like a story. So this is kind of just like a broken street with a manhole cover. Very simple. It holds her up, and it's pretty much okay. She's kind of in the fight scene, and it's dark, and it doesn't take away from up here. If I had that Power Girls logo at the bottom with the stars, I think it would take up too much of like all this from her, and that's kind of what I did. So yeah, this piece is removable. She's removable from the base. She does have a L rod coming up her leg, all the way up here, I think. I forgot exactly how I did it all. And there is like a lot of A's and stuff in here, so she is not going or bending anywhere, so I don't have to worry about this tipping over or bending or warping. She is solid as all hell in there, so that's pretty good with that. And then as far as everything else, she's able to break down and worked out. And the white is just basically white with some blue-gray shading. I didn't want to go too crazy, you know. You don't want to throw blacks in there. You don't want to throw brown, so it's kind of like a whitish blue-gray shading in there. Yeah, I really like how they did the mask on her. Her legs, her torso, everything's got some mass to it. It's not like a pure thin item. Like if you look her from the side, you see it's got mass to her. It's kind of, it feels like a Terry Dodson sculpt. Like if you look at Terry Dodson's drawings, like he draws them, but he makes it feel like the body has mass. Whereas some people, you feel that they just kind of drew the front of it. But with Terry Dodson, it sort of feels like there is mass the way he kind of shades certain areas. So this kind of feels like that. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, you guys could go check out B3DSERK Studios. They do have this 3D file up for grabs. They have a lot of other files as well. You can either sign up on their Patreon, or if not, they do have it on certain sites like CG Trader, where you can just buy one sculpt here or there after it's been out a while. Yeah, it's a really great item. I really had a lot of fun with it. Good practice item, and also this is a really great item where it actually helps me understand more of 3D prints and actually like how to tweak them and customize them now. So it's a good learning curve, because that's where the future is headed. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting a lot more 3D files printed up for people, customize them, paint them, put them together, and just kind of learning how everything goes. So Metajon did a great job with the 3D print. It's frozen 4K resin, which I absolutely love. I did fill this in with some smooth cast resin, so she is solid and heavy. and it feels like a good heavy 1/4 scale statue. Last thing is, after I did this, I kind of wish I did this as a 1/3 scale and actually really tweaked it up even more, because I did this item and then Prime 1 showed their 1/3 scale, which I thought I was going to buy that Prime 1 Power Girl, but after it was released I did not like it at all. It felt like a 1/3 unfinished sculpt, and I actually feel this body and sculpt is better than the Prime 1. Like I said, if I had known that this one probably would have been better, I probably would have tried to print this as a 1/3 scale a lot bigger and really tweaked it out. But now that the face is painted, I think I probably would have tried to just change up the face if I went that route. But all in all, it was a really great sculpt. I had a lot of fun, really worked it out. I gave her a nice good big chest, which she deserves. And, you know, with the big chest, they did sculpt her with a nice big booty. You can kind of see it back there. I did tweak that as well. Kind of give you that one last booty shot before we close out the video. And there you go. So yeah, that is my B3DSERK Power Girl custom 3D print. Hopefully you guys like it. Had a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.